On my phone to get the link.
Perfect, because I'm gonna go grab some water real quick then.
Okay, you're good. Should be coming soon.
Yeah,
Did it pop yet?
yeah. I see it's on YouTube.
Okay, cool. And we should be good to go soon as Bash returns. Oh, that's not good. All right. And here, okay, tweets out. And, all right. And 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to another episode of Inside the Mind of a Blerd. I am your host, Scuba Steve, and I'm joined by my boy, Double O.
Well,
Let's go ahead and give them all of the close vibes and all the fancy stuff that you be doing.
So what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Double O Status, aka your favorite MI6 agent, aka the Dominican Panther Bachata, aka Danny Phantom. When the cops come through, I'm going ghost. Now, I'm talking a little too loud. Steve was a little louder, even so. But we gotta take it down to Jazz FM levels, because down in the Angola Zaire border, they like to call me Nyoka Yan Pembe. What does that mean? The White Mamba. Mambas don't rattle.
Okay. And then we are joined by our guest. First, Legend D Vash. We go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
I am Vash. I come from Anime Lately and from Careful Spoilers to like Steve. We do a show every Friday. Is the C4's villains, and we talk about comic books. Every Friday night we review TV shows, talk about comic book news, and everything else in the pop culture goodness. We also do a lot of movie reviews every other week, and Anime Lately, Shonen Ronin, Anime New podcast, live reaction from me and Sam. We do a lot of content, and we just a bunch of guys and group of a team that just love to do content together.
Yeah. And last but not least, Vash's dad.
Wow, I knew it. I knew you would have done that.
Rob, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, father.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Rob, aka Father of Vash, literally, and I'm from Dad Needs to Talk podcast, where it's all about the manga, the anime, the video games, and life.
Okay. And so today we're going to discuss our full spoiler review of the Batman. Now, before we get into that, let's go around and ask everybody what were their thoughts coming into the movie and what were their thoughts leaving the movie, like afterwards. So going into the movie, what do you think, saying, how hyped were you for the movie? What do you think you were going to get? Were you excited with Robert Pattinson? Because I know a lot of people was already hating on Robert Pattinson as soon as he was announced. So I'll start with Rob. Dad. I'll start with Rob.
Wow,
You're like, Rob, Vash. I don't know who to call because they're both Vash in a way.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh shoot. So Rob, I'll start with you, man. What are your thoughts coming into this movie?
Yeah, so pretty much from the offset, I was hyped just because for me, I've been a lifelong Batman fan from as long as I can remember, and honestly, I would have been hype even without a trailer if they would just say, "Hey, new Batman movie." That's enough to at least get my interest. So okay, you know what? Hey, I'll go watch it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But when they dropped that first trailer and stuff like that, immediately I was like, "Yeah." I was already gonna go see it, but now I need to make sure I go see this on the biggest screen possible day, night one, everything else. And so yeah, so my hype was more or less through the roof. And as far as when I left the theater, I left very fulfilled, just because of the fact of, granted, despite the movie being 3 hours, it held my attention those full 3 hours.
Mm.
And so that within itself is a testament. And so yeah, I just really dug the whole vibe all the way through, and definitely left the theater very happy.
Okay, okay. Double O.
So for me, I had no issues really with Robert Pattinson just because I knew him from other things other than Twilight. Like
Yeah.
the boy got chaps, so that wasn't worrisome for me. I love the fact, and again, this is the pre before even like seeing it. It's like I love that it wasn't another origin story because I was like, we need to start skipping origin story movies and just go for whatever the second movie was gonna be.
Mm.
Just do a quick flashback. Maybe spend 5 minutes. Like, yeah, parents dead. Boom. This is Bruce now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
so
for
it-
Batman, at this point, everybody knows the origin story. So
Yeah.
you don't have to do it. But like, I guess when you do like the Flash movie, Aquaman, some people aren't necessarily familiar. So I can understand those. But like Batman and Spider-Man.
There is 6 years of content on a show called The Flash on the CW, and it's literally about the fastest man alive, but he is always beaten by other faster
These-
characters, but then it makes no sense. So they don't technically need to do a retelling of that story because we already have seen it for 6 years of content. So I think
Yeah,
we're
but
good.
some people ain't watched the Flash. Like
There's
I've
been
been watching the
trailers,
Flash this
there's
year.
been teasers on Twitter. Some people have friends that have been told about it. So that one is no excuse. Aquaman, I get it. Shazam, I get it. The Flash and Batman already has been told. So that's fine.
Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. I don't need an origin story. for
My
them.
favorite thing is how they were just like, in case, like they did it in the first 5 minutes of the movie. They're like, in case y'all were like really stupid, year two. Like it literally was like, focus year
Oh.
two. And it's like,
Double, I have spoken to people already in the past couple of days that people kept saying, "Oh, but that's not like the Batman I know. Like, why doesn't he use his battering? Oh, like why isn't he that smart?" I'm like, did you not read the first 5 minutes of the film? It literally said a folder. Literally say year 2 of my experience.
Bro, not only that, like I saw one dude was like his tech was trash and all this other stuff. And then one dude was like, I've been a Batman fan for years. That was the worst detective work from Batman that I've ever seen. I was like, bro, he was going against the greatest mind in the Riddler.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, so you try to solve those riddles without the tech that he has then, because boy was doing those good riddles. He couldn't find the last 2 riddles. All right, cool. But it's because he's still learning.
yeah. And the thing too is like, he still like people don't get that like his whole thing, even like his relationship with Lucius Fox, like that wasn't something that just like happened overnight. He made connections and network and stuff like that. The other thing too is like, the people are acting in the same way that there's all these seasons of the Flash. Do people not see these movies, all these Batman movies they could reference? I'm like, he wasn't Detective Batman in those movies. He
Like
really
in
wasn't.
none of those movies was he really using detective work in general.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, when they were like, this supposed to be a detective movie, but this was the worst detective Batman I've ever seen. And I was like, this was the only one. You
It's the only one, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, and that the detective stuff was like a big part of it that I really enjoyed because of the fact that, like, like I was sitting there thinking throughout the whole movie. Then when it was done, I was like, yeah, they haven't really, especially not going like this deep into the detective side of stuff in any of the previous movies and stuff. So that was definitely something that I really loved about the movie.
Yeah.
I like that the beatdowns were straight out of the games. Like those
Yes.
beatings. I'm like, I know that combo. That's L3, L2, square, circle, triangle.
Okay, so that makes sense because since I came out the film on Saturday, I have never played any of the games, not once. Like, sorry, that's a lie. I've never played the games of my own property. I've played the games when I've gone to my brother's crib and played a few times, but I've never played the whole game as a whole. So now that makes sense because since I came out of the theaters Saturday evening, I've been eagerly wanting to play these three. I think there's three Batman
The
games, right?
Arkham ones, the ones
Yeah,
that
the
are on
Arkham,
Yeah, yeah.
right
the
now.
Arkham
Yeah.
trilogy. Yeah.
Those are the three I want to play because I don't know why, but I've been craving it. I'm like, yo, just something about that film just made me want to play it now. And now it makes sense what you're saying because of those combo moves. Perhaps that's the case.
bro. So some of those beatings was like real. Like it wasn't like punch, you fall down. It was like punch as you're going down. I'm gonna keep punching you. It was just all that rage and that anger because you know what I'm saying it's year 2. It's like he's still like angry at the world or at the city because of what they did to his, you know, his dad and his mom and stuff like that. So but I guess we start with what were your
Wait,
oh,
I didn't say how because
yeah,
I
yeah.
know that I did say it back in the show of the C-Force villains. We did a ranking of what we were most excited to see this year. The Batman was not in my top 5. I was I was more curious to see the film to see how Robert Pattinson would be. I wasn't those people like, oh, you know, Twilight. No, I knew that he has changed, and also Twilight was back in like 2008. There's no
Bro,
way,
almost 20
like,
years ago.
there's no
Yeah, get over
there's
it.
no way this dude has not acted in 20 years. Like he has done other roles, so I knew that he has more skills. And he has gotten better. But what I was more excited was to see Matt Reeves because I have seen the Planet of the Apes and I love those films. So I was very excited to see what Matt Reeves could do this, and he has spoken very highly of what his goal is about this film. You know, the Bruce Wayne that the year 1 comics, and also the big idea that we finally get a whole type of detective mode. So that is what got me more excited and curious about the film. Coming out, I'm happy I went in, I guess, with low expectations, and I came out just so happy that I was actually thrilled as a comic book fan, and plus as a movie girl, and as a movie girl type of audience to actually see this very good and entertaining film. Because I'm one of the few people that don't think the whole Dark Knight trilogy is that good. I just think it's overhyped. Like it is good for what it is. I just think it's overhyped. Like I get it, it's Christopher Nolan, but to me, this Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson as Batman, I think they kill it, and I enjoy it very much.
I enjoyed the Dark Knight and Batman Begins, but I'm with you on Dark Knight Rises. That one was just okay to me. But Batman Begins and the Dark Knight was great for me at least. Shoot, while we're talking about it, what is y'all's favorite? Matter of fact, who is y'all favorite villain in Batman? Like in all the comics or whatever.
Nobody better say Penguin.
Wow. Let's do top 5.
That's
Then.
a couple pounds.
Let's do top 5 then just to do it.
Hmm.
Who want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So, okay. And let's not name Joker because Joker is everybody's number 1, right? All right. So, after the Joker, for me, number 2 is Two-Face. Number 3 is Ra's al Ghul. Number 4 is actually Penguin. Sorry, Vash. And then number 5 is Poison Ivy. Not Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy though. But yeah, I just like Ivy, just the fact that she seduces before she does the kill, and she got to do a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, okay, these fools fall for it every time. So I actually like Poison Ivy.
Interesting.
Right. So who's next? Because I know you guys are thinking it's on the spot.
All right, so if anything, I'll go next. On the spot, over the years he has became both a Teen Titans villain. Originally, he has become a Batman villain, and he has become a Justice League villain, which I don't know why, but I feel like he's too much for it. Deathstroke, I enjoy him as a Batman villain. He goes toe to toe with Bruce, so and he has fucked with a lot of the Batman family, so I enjoy that very much. So Deathstroke in my top 5. I'm not gonna go 5, 4, 3 because I feel like that's too hard right now at the moment. So Deathstroke. I like Clayface. He's an interesting
Clayface.
character as well.
What up, JD?
I do enjoy Clayface. Um, um, damn, I'm drawing blank.
Uh-oh. All the Batman villains you drawing a blank?
Yes, the Riddler. I'll say that too.
Okay.
Yeah, come back to me because I am drawing blank. I'm gonna go do some search real quick.
This movie made the Riddler go up more. This and then the War of Jokes and Riddles. That made the Riddler climb up a lot in my rankings because I just read the War of Jokes and Riddles probably 2 or 3 months ago. So I'm finding more about the Riddler because all I ever knew before then was the video game Riddler and then Jim Carrey. And I was like, nope, this guy sucks. But now I like it a lot more.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah. I guess I'll say, and also no strict order, but also Two-Face for me. Mr. Freeze. And I think because for whatever Mr. Freeze always comes to mind, I think because I really enjoyed him back in the Batman animated series growing up, as well as, and also as well as his appearance in the Arkham games as well. But
Yeah.
it's a Two-Face, Mr. Freeze. I don't.
You see, it's hard, right?
I guess also Ra's al Ghul and yeah, I'll toss in Deathstroke as that last one as well. Yeah.
Okay. Double O.
I'm like for me, for the most recent would be essentially Batman is his own worst villain, Bat Who Laughs.
Okay. Bat Who
and-
Laughs. Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know we were doing that.
you said Batman across
Okay.
comics and all that, so I'm like Bat Who Laughs because all the crap he did.
I guess okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Then I don't remember if it was Bruce against himself because I know that he was being brainwashed in Batman Beyond, and I remember that the dialogue between him and Terry McGinnis was hilarious because he was like, "Hey, how did you know that they were trying to brainwash you?" And he's like, "The voice inside my head called me Bruce," and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like what? Like, yeah, that's you. That he's
They're
like,
like,
nah, no. I'm Batman. And he's like, hey, that's my name now.
That is true. That is one of my favorite fucking episodes for that reason because it's just a dialogue for it.
Yeah, like for himself, he was always Batman. Bruce was his alter ego,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
is like you see it in this movie. Like
Yeah.
he is Batman.
Yeah, because you hardly ever get this. You don't see very much Bruce at all.
And I love that they even like talk about it. They're just like, hey, you need to make appearances. You need to know you're alive. Like that matters if you want
Right.
to keep your money. Like
Mhm.
so the other one, Talia al Ghul,
Okay, Talia.
Arkham Knight, which is just essentially Red Hood.
Okay.
And I forgot Lucius's son. What did they call him? He's blue. He's like in a Batman suit, but it's blue. I forgot what his name is. It's Lucius's son,
It's Batwing.
Batwing. I don't know. I think he's more of an anti-hero. I don't know if he's straight up a villain.
Villain. Okay.
But okay, I'll go with Batwing. I'm missing one.
So nobody likes Penguin. I'm the only one, huh?
Huh?
I said so. Nobody really liked the Penguin. I'm just the only one that likes Penguin.
Oh, what's her name? I don't know what her name is. I remember the scene. She's usually they're in a swing set. I think it's the girl from the Royal Flush Gang, the original, the little girl.
Oh yeah.
That they're in a swing, usually like talking.
Mhm.
From the scene that I
Damn.
remember.
What's her name? That's from the TV show, right?
Yeah, that's from the Batman the animated series.
Honorable mention. I completely forgot about Scarecrow. Scarecrow.
Oh yeah, Scarecrow. Great.
Scarecrow is in my top 5. I completely forgot about Scarecrow. Good shit.
Mhm.
So
All right,
JB says no specific order: Ra's al Ghul, Riddler, Bane, Deathstroke, and Arkham Knight. And then Talk No Jutsu says Two-Face, Bane, Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, Penguin. Okay, so I'm not the only one. I fuck with the Penguin. I don't know. I like Mob. Swap Bane with Mr. Freeze.
all
Two
right,
show.
all right. So with James, kind of close to me because I got it. Rage, Riddler, Deathstroke, Clayface, and then the other one was it was Two Face.
Two-Face? Okay. Because I was like, everybody should have Joker as number one. So just 5 after that. That's why I was like, Joker.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, so let's get into the movie. So before we go too much into it okay, so everybody that's here, if you haven't seen Batman and you care to not be spoiled, you should probably leave. And if you don't care,
Careful for spoilers.
yeah, if you don't care about spoilers, you can stay. But we're about to get into the movie. So I'm not gonna go in like a specific order or anything like that. We're just gonna like really shoot the shit, talk about scenes that we really, really enjoyed, love, and everything like that. So what did you guys think about the performance from the Riddler? What did y'all think about this Riddler being like not in like a hat and a suit type, type thing? He was like more so just like in a big fucking jacket and everything like that. What did y'all think about this portrayal of the Riddler in this
I was
movie?
like, does Steve really say cat in the hat? Like, I was like, I played that back in my head. Like,
Bro,
He
he
like,
got
you know,
like on a
you know,
Monopoly,
the
a green
hat.
Monopoly man suit.
Yeah.
Like,
I like this interpretation of him, just because even though I'm not like super in depth where I've like seen like every permutation of all these characters and stuff, but generally when somebody says the Riddler, you think suit of some sort with the cane at the top hat. Was it? Okay. So I definitely like this kind of more low key version of him of like, hey, no, he's just this low key dude, going out doing his little riddles and puzzles and stuff. And so yeah, I just really enjoyed seeing a less flashier version of him to where it really did focus on his intellect and the mind games portion of it.
well, he lived up to his name because I'm like, my favorite thing about it was literally he names himself Enigma in the games.
Mhm.
And I'm like, the fact that we didn't see him as a person till the literal end,
yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Really?
It didn't matter. It didn't matter who he was.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is to add to that is that I love how at the end of his last video he said, "Hey guys, I do appreciate your support." I felt like he was about to say, "And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe."
Head up
Like-
my OnlyFans, bro. Like,
I
y'all
was waiting
want that
for
Riddler
that.
merch?
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, don't forget I'm gonna be in jail, but if you guys could support my merch, it's gonna be in my
drop a mixtape
offline
from
store. So once I'm out of prison, I could have the money you guys bought and support my brand. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys after prison. I thought he was gonna do that, and I would have laughed. It probably would have been cringy, but it would have been hilarious for me.
It's Rick Hitler. It's the Riddler here. You know who it is. Coming to you live from a warehouse, apparently.
Is that so I don't know if that was Bash's mic doing more feedback again, but I've heard a little bit of static. But my thing is with the Riddler, I fucking love this like whole dynamic of it was just being more dark and less, because I saw so many people that was saying the Riddler needs to leave that dark stuff to the Joker. They need to leave that to him. It was like the Riddler I know is goofy and fun, and I was like, other than Jim Carrey, what version of the Riddler are you talking about? I was like, because even in the games, he was still dark. Like,
He's dark as hell. Like he enjoys to kill people. Part of the
Exactly.
joke, and that ain't anything good out of it.
Even
Mhm.
in Gotham, the TV series, he's like dark, he's cynical, he's nervous, and he's like awkward. Yeah, but he's not a comedy like making jokes character. I was
Mhm.
like, I don't know where y'all are getting that from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it.
He's a pimp in
But
the game.
everybody was all like, they didn't like at least Facebook. I don't know why I'm on Facebook, but on Facebook, they're like, oh yeah, I don't like this and I don't like that, and I'm like, bro, other than the movies, what do y'all know about Batman? Because that's not the that's not the Riddler that I know.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, Harlow Juicy said the side missions, he was like, I'm good on messing with them. It was just even on the side missions, it was like because when Riddler gives a riddle or whatever for Bruce Wayne, yeah, of course,
Mhm.
there Bruce Wayne can figure him out. I'm not Bruce Wayne. I'm Stephen McGee playing the fucking video game. Like I can't figure out this fucking riddle. Like that shit used to annoy
One
the
has
fuck
3
out of me.
legs. Wait a minute. Tripod. It's like what?
Yeah.
No,
3 legs. It can't walk.
it's a
Like,
C-stand.
Mhm. Yeah. So I don't know, but I really enjoyed this portrayal of the Riddler. I really liked
Mhm.
it. I like the fact that he wasn't in costume and you know what I'm saying in a green Monopoly man suit.
Yeah,
Like I love that.
I'm happy that like when my first impressions of this Riddler, I enjoyed it because one,
Mhm.
I'm happy they didn't do any type of spandex in green because
yeah.
it would have been like a different tone of the whole film. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
so Batman is a dark and greedy, but then we have a whole bright as neon color of a boy in spandex that wants to destroy Gotham just because he's an orphanage. I'm like, cool, but that's a very bright color and that's a whole different tone of the film. But with this whole ruggedy, darkish green color, it reminded me of the Doomsday type of green, the green container, but instead of fitted for a human.
Mm. So I don't know if it's just me hearing that, but Vash, you like staticky. Like, can everybody hear that, or was that just me?
Well, I was able to hear him. It's low on my end.
Yeah, I'm hearing him clear on my end, but I am hearing through somebody else the static sound.
So
But
it's
when
probably
he's
just
Okay.
talking,
you,
Oh,
everybody
Steve.
oh,
else
wait,
is
wait,
straight.
wait. Let me see. Hold on.
Oh, you could.
I don't know if that's me. Okay. Is it better now?
Hello, speaking right now. We are
Yeah,
on the
that is
live.
me. That is me. That was my TV. I apologize. So I just unplugged. I
Steve blaming
unplugged.
everybody else.
I'm sitting there blaming everybody because last time he was static in, so I thought it was
No,
just me. So
so
that's
last
my
time
bad.
it was me. Now I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, Steve,
So
back to the old technology.
no, so I plugged up a TV HDMI cord to my TV. I apologize to anybody if they were hearing all that static, or if it was just me. Then cool, and we
It
just go
sounded
back.
good every time Steve didn't speak.
So everybody can respond to Vash because I had no idea what the fuck he said.
What
Because of the static.
I said was that I fuck with I I fuck with Riddler's
Portrayal.
green outfit and then the
Mhm.
whole portrayal because I'm happy that we didn't get the green spandex on screen because it would have looked very weird and tone different to what we got of the rest of the Batman
Mhm.
film.
Mhm.
And the green outfit that he wore that looks ruggedy reminded me of the Doomsday green container type of outfit that he wears. So it kind of reminded me that it just fitted for the Riddler and looked very well for him. But
Mhm.
sometimes it threw me off when he was wearing glasses. But I guess this version of the Riddler is just blind as fuck. So that's why he starts to wear his glasses on top of the outfit too.
I appreciated that like big raincoat because it makes him look like yeah we knew who the actor was and we know kind of like Riddler's character is a more of a slender, smaller type of
Mhm.
guy. But anybody that's in Gotham looking at these tapes and they seeing the big old suit, he could be 6'5", 200 pounds for all they know. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
nobody really knows. You know what I'm saying? So I like that just that deception that suit kind of gives. You know what I'm saying? So then when they show up at the end in that little diner and
Yeah.
he's like kind of a smaller guy, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I wonder if the cops were freaking out, like, this can't be the guy or whatever, like that.
Yeah.
But so we also with the riddles or whatever, I'm not sure about you guys, but I struggled on some of those riddles. You know, but some of the riddles I got right away or whatever. Did you guys like the riddles that were given in this movie? Did y'all feel like they were done well enough to like
My favorite riddle of throughout the whole film is El Rata con la Rata. I was dying. I was dying when the penguin was telling them, and y'all don't know Spanish? Y'all don't know the difference of el and la. I was laughing. I'm like, I never expected in a million years that I see a Spanish joke in a Batman film. I didn't expect that. I'm like, oh, so we're gonna get that. Okay, cool. And it was just hilarious of how Bruce and just Jim just stares at each other like, oh shit, we didn't notice that. I'm like, oh, so I guess it's not this penguin. I guess it's the other bird that is Falcone. But it was just hilarious. Like that's one of my favorite riddles. And it makes sense that the riddles were easy for Bruce in the beginning, but that is the riddle way, because he always makes the jokes. He always makes the riddles very simple for Bruce, but throughout the time it gets much harder and harder for him to figure out. So that's why I enjoy about the riddles in this film, because a few of them I got to figure in the beginning, but then like the last couple ones I was like, okay, I don't know what the hell's talking about, like going with the water, going around, bring the rat to the light. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
those setups
like,
were beautiful.
like once we started, I'm like, oh, so that's what he meant. But me, I'm like, I would have got them killed. I'm like, I would have not figured that shit out. Like, nah.
So, because I love the thumb drive joint. That was cool, and I thought that was a nice setup because it was like he's missing his thumb was severed, and then later on you get the thumb drive or whatever. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
How they set that one up. I actually had a feeling about the Falcone one just because Penguin is one of my favorite characters. So Penguin is heavy on not snitching and not telling and stuff like that. So I was actually going to be disappointed if Penguin was the rat. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you ever you've played some of the Arkham games, and like there's one of them where like he's Batman is holding one of the dudes upside down or something like that. And he's like, okay, I'll talk. And he starts telling. And then Penguin is like, is that a rat? Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, I have your tongue for that and stuff like. So I knew Penguin wasn't a snitch. So I was like, okay, so the only other bird that I was thinking was Falcone or Batman, like something with wings. And I was just like, okay, so I don't think Batman is a rat or whatever. So, but yeah, I really, really fucking enjoyed like some of those riddles. Like I said, my favorite one was the thumb drive one. That one was pretty cool.
I really liked how the weapon that was used at the beginning of the movie to kill that guy was brought back at the end to reveal the big map that he had under the carpet and stuff. So that one I really enjoyed. It was like, okay, hey, here's this thing that happened at the very top of the movie 3 hours ago, and now
full circle.
Yeah, now full circle. Oh, here's another piece of the puzzle that you pretty much missed. Until he kind of had to keep pushing him like, hey, hint, and then because otherwise he could have said nothing, and they would have been extra effed, but yeah.
Okay. Like the very last riddle for me was my favorite because I think it kind of like fucked with our emotions as fans, and it also like really messed with Bruce's head, which is like what Riddler is known for. Because when he orchestrated that whole thing, it was just like Bruce Wayne, and he's just making a point, right? Like oh, like I got everyone except him. So in the case of that situation, you won. Like I didn't get to Bruce, but the way he spaced out, the way he said Bruce Wayne, like he was just like, "Fuck," he knows my identity.
That's what I was
doing. But that's what I love about it, because it was like a double-edged sword. Like he's pointing out that, hey, Bruce, you won, but I know who you are, so I still got you in the palm of my hands. So I still love that scene, and just the way the execution of that scene. Because I was also gonna ask you guys, how did you guys feel about his mental breakdown right after when Bruce told him, "I won't join you," because I saw some people online that it felt very out of character, but to me, it felt right out of
That
character
was
because
perfect.
Riddler, he's a perfectionist. He thinks things out to the very end, and when it doesn't go his way, he has a breakdown for that reason. And
Mhm.
then when he reacted and then started to scream, it's because he thought Bruce was gonna join him. So I just
Mhm.
love that scene very much. It just was very well performance.
So I got a question before you say before with that. Do you guys think that the Riddler knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman, or do you think that, like Double O said, he said it so spaced out that Batman just assumed that he knew
I
or
think he
whatever?
did that purposely,
Yeah.
I was gonna say Vash, like that's gonna fucking clear anything up. Like like Legend Vash said. Um it's left up to, I think, for you to decide how smart you want your Riddler to be. Because it
Mhm.
could have been like that double nod of like I didn't get to. It's ironic. I didn't get to Bruce. That it's the only person I didn't get to, and you're here.
Mhm.
And it's like, take that how
Mhm.
you want. Like, is it a weird coincidence, or is it I'm telling you that I know that it's you, but letting you walk away from the
Mhm.
situation, even with it being recorded, that like I
Mhm.
didn't really out you, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Rob, did you think?
I'm kind of torn because in the moment I thought that he had figured it out, but then just like hearing different discussions and stuff over the last few days, now I'm kind of starting to second guess and be like, maybe he didn't. And so it's just the directors and the actors just trying to like it. It's basically kind of like a fourth wall breaking uh mind fuck for the audience as well, because it's like Bruce Wayne in the movie is confused, us as viewers, we're confused. So I don't know. I'm kind of somewhere like in between to where, like, in the moment, I'm like, oh crap, he figured it out. But as we're kind of talking about it, I'm like, did he? I don't
So
know.
the way I see that, I feel like he figured it out because if you look at the two scenes or three scenes before, um, b- back at his apartment, it showed all the newspapers and everything, and when the camera was scrolling up and then down, it said he is Batman, Bruce is Batman. I don't know if any of the other cops saw that shit because it's like if they didn't read that, like they would have known too that he is
At least
Batman.
suspected it. Yeah.
But that
Mhm.
whole wall felt like he just has been doing the research all over these years or over these past 6 months that he said. So I feel like the way he spoke and the way the camera also pointed up to the camera that was staring at the Riddler, it showed that he took his words slowly because he didn't want to reveal his identity because he also wants to play this game in the long run because that is how the Riddler likes to do it.
So Taco Jutsu says, I think he was prepared for both because technically he blew up Bruce, which you know what I'm saying? We saw that. And
Yeah.
then he still had an envelope for Batman. So technically he thought he killed, Bruce Wayne, or he would think that he killed Bruce Wayne. So then him having an envelope for Batman suggests that he thinks it's two different people. I like that way of thinking. And then he says, I like thinking about it as an interpretation and however smart you want the Riddler to be. Okay, yeah, he was basically giving a nod to Double O for what he said.
Mhm.
Honestly and truthfully, I think he knew. I was on the fence of he knew because he looked at him. He said Bruce Wayne, and like when he walked into the room, it was like a conversation starter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and if you walk into the room, I'm not gonna just randomly, you know what I'm saying, say if you walk into a room masked, I'm not gonna randomly just say your name to me, in my
Mhm.
in my opinion. I feel like that's not a conversation starter. Like Bruce Wayne, and then you say Bruce Wayne again, all dramatically. That just felt like he knew to me.
What if they would have been like, who are you, Jim Gordon? Like, nah,
Yeah. Right. Like if you would have said
that don't
anything else,
match.
like if you would have said anything else, it would have been like, okay, cool. But it just felt right to me. It's just like you have to be Bruce Wayne. Like that's what it felt like. And then it was like orphan. It was all these games and riddles he was playing with being an orphan, things like that. Bruce Wayne was an orphan. It just feels right that he knew that Batman was Bruce Wayne, in my opinion. But these the way you guys are saying these things, it does feel like maybe it's up, up to the watcher to figure out. And then on top of that, he's not dead, so maybe he appears in another movie, and we'll get our actual answer in that movie or whatever.
He made some friends in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did y'all feel about that? The Joker.
I could have did without it, to be honest. Just because
I'd rather
just because it's like it felt like, oh, we gotta shoehorn him in somehow, even if it's at the very end. Because I was okay, cool. Hey, maybe potentially a movie without the Joker. I'm cool because we get him all the time, and then it's just like, hey, what's up, Roomy?
Yeah.
I'm fine with if it was like Black Mask, or if it was somebody else that is like a low budget type of villain. I didn't want the Joker. Like I didn't mind it. It was obvious, but I was like, I would have been fine with it being, Black Mask or any other thug that is known to have their own, gang right here in Gotham. But I wasn't craving the Joker. Like I was hoping for Matt Reeves to do something else, because we technically have two Jokers already in the DC. So it's like we don't need a third Joker again.
And going the detective route, a better villain set up for another, for the next, not necessarily even like the next movie, but just like even for a future movie, would have been what's his name, the puppeteer, the mob boss.
Oh,
like that would have made a great detective, another great detective film.
And see, they don't use those characters that often.
Yeah,
they don't. But I feel like Matt Reeves would have done a good job with that character.
Like for me, I was like, we've seen the Joker in Joker. We've seen the Joker in Dark Knights. We said Dark Knight
Squad.
He was in Batman Begins, and he was technically supposed to be in the Batman Dark Knight Rises, and then he was in Suicide Squad, like you said, and then he was also in this Justice League one. And it's just like, we get it. The Joker is a dope villain, but it's like we don't necessarily need him for this. Like we just didn't, and especially for these last 3 minutes. So for the next movie, I would hope that they keep that Joker behind the man behind the wall image that they're doing. Keep that. You know what I'm saying? If you feel the need to insist on putting the Joker in the movie, put him behind the wall. We never see his face or whatever. And I would love for them to do like a Dr. Harleen Quinn goes in to check on him, stuff like that. And then as like every time they cut to that scene, you can see the wheels turning kind of for her, and she's becoming Harleen Quinn. I wouldn't mind something like that. And then you do whatever your stuff is, villain or whatever, for Batman outside of Arkham, obviously. But I would rather that. That way we don't really get Joker, because it's just, we've seen it so many times at this point. And honestly and truthfully, that Joker didn't sound great to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. He didn't sound great to me.
I think like the next Joker I'd want to see, and this is not like movies leading up to it. I'm like, I need Arkham Asylum Joker. Can we get that one? Like trap Batman in the asylum for the whole movie.
That would be fire. I would love that.
So you want like pure crazy Joker, like just pure chaotic.
Honestly and truthfully, what I wouldn't mind, and I mean, if they could somehow do it, if they're CGI in freaking Luke Skywalker, CGI Mark Hamill, and make him the Joker, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that that Mark Hamill is going to give a wonderful performance.
I mean, for Arkham Asylum Joker, you could use current Mark Hamill, and just have it be like, because it's a situation where, like I said, my favorite saying, one of my favorite quotes in Arkham Asylum, um, is that he's just like, one bad day, you're
Mhm.
only one bad day away from being me, essentially.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
would be really dope. You know what I'm saying? And then you can kind of like stay away from his stomach area to make it look like he's slender. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of do that and just give us the joke. I would kill to have Mark Hamill live action Joker. Like that would be like legit. Because I mean, either that or just tie in Joaquin Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why they didn't just do that. He could have been the man behind the
I
wall.
would have no problem if they did
Yeah.
that instead.
Yeah.
Same.
It
Yeah.
just didn't make sense to give us another Joker for no reason. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? I just didn't understand that.
Because a
But
little bit that we saw, I was just like, is this the Joker from Gotham, the show? Like when we got like a little glimpse, like
Yeah.
that first
Right.
glimpse, I'm like, no,
and
why?
his face looked like damaged. Like it didn't look white. It looked like he had like some cuts and stuff on his face or whatever. It looked weird. But that was the Riddler. How did you guys feel about Penguin? Colin Farrell as Penguin.
He looked great. I gotta give
Yeah.
props. I work in production, and I just want to give props to the wardrobe, to the hair and makeup people, and the special effects, because I couldn't tell that was Colin Farrell until after the movie, and I searched up. I was like, hold up, this dude was Colin Farrell? Wow,
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
shocked because I could not recognize him. The scars was great. I'm happy they didn't give him the big nose. They did such a great job for his character. The
Mhm.
comedy was good.
Yeah.
I hate comparing this, and a lot of people on Twitter and time like to do it, but the comedy for the Penguin didn't feel like the Marvel comedy.
Mhm.
When the Marvel films do the comedy, it's very on the nose and it's right there and slaps you in the face.
Mhm.
With the Penguin comedy, like for example, when Bruce went into the club and when he went for the first time, he was about to smack the Penguin. But he said, hey, no, hold up, don't. There's no need
Whoa,
to
easy there,
like,
sweetheart.
yeah.
Easy.
So
Yeah.
I just love that
Yeah.
type of comedy where like this it is the Penguin. There's times that he has done this in the cartoons where he has told Batman like, yo, there's no need to fight. You should not mess this face up, and it's
Yeah.
just very simple things. Those type of jokes or not works for me, and I continue to say, and I bring up El Rata, La Rata. It just works. I will laugh about it. It's such a simple joke, but the Spanish the Spanish language, it's very hard sometimes, with the right lettering. So
Mhm.
I enjoyed Penguin. It was good, and I hope to see more of him because this man is about to he's about to take most of Gotham right now. He's
Yeah.
about to take the power hungry. So can't wait to see what will they would do with the spin-off film or the spin-off show. I think they're gonna do about
Yeah.
him.
They're
Can't
gonna
wait to
show,
see.
right?
Yeah, I think it's a show movie. I can't remember from the top of my head, but I know it's one or the other. Can't wait to see what they do because he would do that. Penguin show will do amazing for 6 to 8 episodes
Mhm.
as a mob boss and just
Mhm.
have little small thugs out there. It will be a great show.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like his scene in the chase scene was like chef's kiss. Cause like
That chasing fire.
when he came, when he was just like, yeah, I got you finally. Oh man. And he came through all those flames of the car. He was like, this motherfucker doesn't die. Like, is he like a meta human? Like at
Mhm.
that point, it was like it's the fear that people do get from Batman, where they're just like, I don't think he's human. Like is he half bat or
Mhm.
something?
Mhm.
Speaking of that scene, so when we first get the first Batmobile reveal, man, I love that because like I don't know about y'all's theater, but when the engine turned on and it was revving up and it felt like the whole room was just
Shaking. Yeah.
shaking,
Yeah.
shaking. And I
That
loved it.
engine, that engine sounded like a Mach 5 type of engine. Like I felt for a second, I felt like the engine was on top of Speed Racer. I'm like, oh shit, that shit sounds fast as fuck. But the design,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is definitely year 2 Batman, because this design is kind of like a sports car, but just got extra, a lot of type of armor on it. But I feel like can't wait to see his next design because I hope it looks better.
Mhm.
It reminds me
Um,
of the Adam West Batmobile.
I do agree with
Like,
that.
yeah, it was definitely an old school Batmobile, but I still like thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just
Mhm.
like, okay, this is before they, souped it up and made it into the
Super high tech.
yeah, high tech car or whatever with fucking wings and shit. Um, but the thing that I loved the most about the Penguin in general was just that they stayed true to that. I'm not a rat. Like what the like
Mhm.
no, I'd rather die than be a rat. Like because I just love the Penguin in general because he has that old school mafia mentality. Like that's just who he is. He's like, no, I'm not. What? I'd never a rat. I'd die before I'm a rat and stuff like that. And I really am upset that we didn't get Philip Seymour Hoffman as the Penguin because he was so after Heath Ledger passed, the initial thing was Philip Seymour Hoffman as the Penguin for Batman: The Dark Knight Rises. And then he passed, and it was like this movie, like the rumors and stuff it was like this movie's cursed, it's not gonna come out and stuff like that. So, but I was upset that we didn't get Philip Seymour Hoffman, but Colin Farrell, honestly and truthfully, he did a really good job, and I can't be mad at that. Like
Mhm.
he did a really good job. I'm excited to see the show that's going to be coming on HBO Max. So whenever that comes out, I'm ready to. I'm gonna be front line and center to see how
Yeah.
that's going to go, because as Bash said, the Penguin takes over. Like
Mhm.
Maroni's gone, Falcone's gone. The only person that's in charge right now is the Penguin. You know what I'm saying? As far as mob ties and things like that. So I'm excited to see what direction they go with that, and I'm excited to see it on screen. My
Mhm.
top 5 villain of Batman is going to get some airtime. Meanwhile, you got it. Not going to
So,
get that.
so speaking of all the good stuff, let's flip this a bit and say like, what was the scene that you didn't really like that it didn't hit for you? So like the scene that didn't hit for me
Mhm.
was at the end when him and Selena Kyle parted ways. I'm like, yo, this is not like Fast and the Furious.
It's not a
That,
love
that,
story.
that's the same thing I thought about too. The Fast and Furious scene. I was like, this Fast and
I was like, we not about to like drop the song right now.
I know.
Till
Like,
we
no.
see you again. I'll see you again. Nah, but it's weird because I can't say I love that scene. I just like I love the camera work for that scene. So I cannot say that I love the scene itself, but I do get where you're coming from. But I just like the camera shot and the way the motorcycle is driving by, both of them and everything. And it's just, it just look adorable. But for me, in my mindset, the way I saw it, it looked like a car scene because of the Too Fast and Furious, But I, for me, it felt like it worked because Robert, for the first time, was letting somebody else inside him, close to him, that he actually wants to open his heart to,
Yeah.
and he didn't want to let her go. He wanted her to stay.
Mhm.
So that's why I felt like he deep down wanted her to stay, but he felt like this was her choice and this was his choice for him to save Gotham because that's his mission. That's his vengeance. So I feel like that was the point of the shot, like for him just staring in the mirror, like I'll see you again in the future. Again, the song, but I feel
Mhm.
like we're supposed to, hey, Robert, you're gonna see her again. Just have a little nice distance in the future.
Yeah, Alfred makes a comment about it too, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I see you like this girl."
Yeah. A scene that we already talked about it. The scene that didn't hit for me was the Joker. I just
Mhm.
as soon as it happened, I was like, I was like,
Like, I could have ended
everything
the movie before this.
yeah, everything was going great, and then it's like so that just didn't hit for me. But other than that, like I thoroughly enjoyed pretty much all of this movie. Like that was like one of the one scenes that didn't hit for me, and then I guess you could say the Catwoman Batman relationship. It was like I get it, but it was like, dang, you kissing me? You don't even know who I am. Like it's like she just was like, I've been working at this club for a while. This is what we do. And she was
Hey, I was about to say,
that's what it kind of felt like.
it be like that sometimes though.
Yeah, for some reason you have
You know, that's what's cool. A one night stand, and you know, sometimes you have random kisses with strangers out here. So you know, shit happens.
I like how she was like, I work upstairs. I don't work downstairs. No,
You drink on those one night stands and stuff like that. Like you sober, I assume.
And plus, she did say that I have a thing for strays.
She did. Yeah, she
There you go.
definitely did. I will say I enjoyed Zoe Kravitz's portrayal of Catwoman. I thought she was really good. I was wondering because I mean, obviously, we know that was her friend. You know what I'm saying? But she kept calling her baby and stuff like that. So I don't know if that was their subtle way of like hinting, like, okay, this was a relationship, and then she moved on. But I think, in my opinion, it was just a friendship or whatever, and she called her baby because this is how
They were that
sometimes
close.
yeah, people talk like that.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I think that's what the situation was. Do you guys have any quarrels with that or anything like that? Any ideas?
No, I agree. I feel like it could have been interpreted as either way. Either it was something more, or it was just no. This is somebody that she's been friends with for a long time. They've been through the trenches. They've been through a lot. Especially working together at that club, and you know. Ain't no telling what all BS stuff that I had to put up with you know various customers, especially with like politicians and other high-ranking figures in the city coming through there. So of course you kind of find those people that you bond with, to where it's like, hey, there was some crazy stuff at work. You got that co-worker to like, man, boss man tripping, or that customer today was being an a-hole. So yes, I definitely could see that being either way.
Facts.
That Bruce. So the thing that to me was kind of like a meme moment was when Selena put the bat signal up, and both Gordon and Bruce showed up, and they were just like, he was like, yeah, yo, what's up? Like, what happened? Like, I saw you put, you called me. What's up? And he's like, I called you. You called me. Like, what do you? They were like,
the Spider-Man joint.
Yeah, like I'm like, they're like, so who was it? And then when they went both upstairs, and Zoe just smacking the shit out of them, like just smacking. And both are like, the fuck did we got into? What the hell?
But my thing was like, at what point because I know it's happened before, but I'm like, it doesn't happen enough. I guess maybe that was like an Easter egg kind of like scene, because I'm like, that does not happen often. Like, Bruce doesn't call Gordon with the bat signal
at all. So, but it's year 2, so obviously he's starting to figure it out.
Well,
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say real quick. Well, and plus, at least at the time, they're the only ones that know each other. As far as like that know about the bat signal being there. So even though Batman might not normally call him, at the same time, if Gordon's just chilling and he looks like, oh, the signal,
like, it wasn't me. Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, clearly it's not me. Then maybe something happened with Batman. He needs me or whatever. So, that's kind of how I look at that potential, thing going.
But like,
for memes, because 00 mentioned memes. The only meme I could think of to make this is like you and the side dude pull up to the house at the same time. That would be the type of meme that I would give for that.
Like, you'd be like, oh, you here? Me too.
Oh,
They want a threesome? Oh shit,
Yeah.
why not? Sure.
rock paper scissors. Like,
Let's go. You
that's the only
scissors
kind of,
or
like,
rocks,
meme I would
paper.
make. But
Yeah,
yeah.
but I do want to give a shout out to Zoe because she did an amazing job in this role and didn't call her Catwoman. She doesn't have the mantle as of yet. It's it's Cheselina Kyle, and really
Mhm.
like I really like this character that she portrayed because for the version of Anne Hathaway, it was just more to be sexy. Yes, she
Yeah.
did good in her role. There's nothing wrong with to look sexy, but with this version of Catwoman, Zoe portrayed a character that actually has layers to her. Like she actually has a goal that she wants to find her friend, babe, not friend, or girlfriend, or not, don't matter. But we wanted to find out what happened to her friend. Girl got
Mhm.
killed. All right, cool. But then now she also wanted to work with Batman because she also wanted to take down her father. So all that of her character, I enjoyed this very much because Zoe, sorry, the character Catwoman is much a better layered character than what we saw back in the Dark Knight, in
Mhm.
the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that very much. That in this movie we actually got an actual character of Selena Kyle, and to me, I was very entertained by that, and I was very happy. So Zoe did really knock it out of the park.
I thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoy Zoe.
So I wanted to go on, I guess, a small rant because what you were talking about before, that the scene with when Batman and Selena Kyle kind of like go away, how you like the cinematography behind it, how it was shot.
Yeah,
So I love like I have that same comment for when they were first introducing the bat signal and like what it meant, like to the city, to the criminals, like
Oh, yeah, the
how they
fear.
shot that, and that it was straight up fear because he didn't show up to none of those like criminal things happening, like just the last one, and he admits it himself. He's just like, yeah, I'm a symbol. I'm a symbol of fear, and like they know what can go down, and like how everyone was just like looking at the shadows, like, oh shit, is he here?
Is he here?
Like, is
He
it
was
my
on the
turn
spray
today
paint.
to get my arm broken? Like,
I'm just spray painting, but can I lose my hand for spray painting?
Yeah.
Yo, the thing is, I don't understand. Like, if you live in Gotham and you know this hooded man called Batman lives here and is going out on the streets, smacking, kicking, throwing people off the roof, throwing people off the windows, throwing people off in light posts. Why would you go rob? Like, yeah, you could be one of the 100 people that could have survived, but why get that chance? You could go to a hospital and pay a higher bill, pay a higher mortgage to fix your body parts from what Bruce just broke. I feel like that's just like you're playing, like you're playing the lotto, like you're playing the gods of devil hands. Like, why would you do that?
yeah, and the way he folded a bunch of people, like that kid was like, nah,
He's like,
son,
nah.
I'm not gonna be a chair today. Like,
Bro,
I'm good.
Buddy only had half paint because he wasn't in the game yet.
Yeah.
He was
He wasn't
like,
gang.
look, y'all already done lost, and I'm not in yet. If I
So did you
fight,
see that? He folded a human being. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
even know you could do
if
that.
I fight this man, do I get the rest of my face paint? like, what's the point? Like, nobody saw it. Y'all all knocked out.
How did we feel about that? About the guys wearing the face masks or painted? Like, we knew that those people were followers of the Joker because like we know wearing the paint face
Well,
mask.
it was white and black, so it might be the guy that you said. What was the name again?
Are you talking about Two Face?
No, Black
No,
Mask.
yeah.
Yeah,
Black Mask could
so they
be.
could be followers of him. So, and I mean, I've seen dead presidents, so it could be that. But I didn't feel like they were followers of the Joker because the Joker had all those other aspects of white and greenish and purple, and
Mhm.
it just really felt white and black. Like they had like the charcoal paint around their eyes. It felt like they were just random hoodlums in a sense.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let me read this comment real quick.
Mhm.
So Takno Jutsu said, I'm glad they did it different. How she had her own, how Catwoman had her own goal, and it doesn't involve setting up Batman like normally. She basically sets up Batman. and it says they were on two different paths, but she wanted more. I feel like that expands their chase of each other that they always had on. And then he said he tried to dumb that down and make as much sense as possible. I agree. Like
Yeah.
most of the time when we see Catwoman on screen, they get together, and then for some reason, Batman is always like, "What are you doing here, Selena?" And he kind of like flirts with her a little bit, and then she was like, "Oh, I was just getting out of here." And then the alarm goes off, and she flips out the room, and Batman is standing there looking stupid. So I agree. I love the fact that they didn't have a situation like that. Now,
Yes.
will it be coming in the future? Yeah, probably.
Yo, Steve, just saying, I don't mind if you do a Patreon version of you doing a bit of Batman and a bit of Catwoman, because I found that kind of hot right there. I was like, shit.
Oh my god!
I was like, damn, Steve knows about the wave, the comics. He's, Steve knows about the, all about the chemistry.
Hey, you pay, I'll do it. I'll show you. I'll show you what this Catwoman voice does. But yeah, I mean, I agree.
I was
with
gonna
that.
say, I do want to go back. I do want to go back to Double O comment about the bat signal, because I really love the cinematography in those sequence of how slowly, like, you was trying to figure, like, yo, who about to get jumped? Which of these hoodlums about to get jumped? Like, which of them? And then of course, the people that, like, 6 to 10 people that they need to get jumped because they're trying to all jump. They are trying to jump somebody else. So of course, this random person in the train, trying to walk out, and of course, this man is the one that's gonna get saved.
He looks the most helpless. It's like
I was hoping all of them got jumped. It's just that it showed like in each different time.
Mhm.
But I'm glad of what you said, Double O, that with the bat signal, it worked for its purpose. It was made to help, Jim and him to, speak and have chemistry, but also it's to show the other hoodlums and the other villains that are doing bank robbers or whatever they're doing, that, yo, I could come and find you. You're probably the next target. So it shows that the fear, most type of signals are more for hope. His is to put the fear in people because you're in the city, causing violence.
Sorry, just real quick, just because talking about different scenes and stuff we really liked. I really enjoyed the one where they had Batman in the police station with where they had them all surrounded in that room and stuff, and then Gordon got them all cleared out.
Oh, that scene,
yeah. I really enjoyed that scene. And I appreciated at the end when he's making this great escape, and he jumps off the building and he's gliding and stuff. And then when he lets up the parachute and he like smacks it to the bottom of the bridge. And then just the ground. That part I appreciated, because it's okay, he did make an escape, but it wasn't, it wasn't fully unscathed. It's like, yeah, he's still learning some tricks of the trade. So, but yeah, that whole scene in general, I really enjoyed.
Okay. Shout out to Leroy, because I went to go see the movie with Leroy, and I got like a super large popcorn. And at the very beginning, when all the people saw the bat signal and they were shook, Leroy was like staring at it, and then he knocked over I was like,
damn.
But he was just like, oh, my bad. And it was like, all right, whatever. We already ate pizza or whatever. But shout out to him. He's talking about he dropped the popcorn when he saw the bat. Signal.
But I do want to add to what my dad is saying, of how Jim said it. Yo, bro, just smack me. Just do a little nice punch. And to make it believable, and just escape down the hall. Go right and go up the staircase. And then when they met up each other, like, yo, but you could have put that
held
punch
back.
back. He said, it.
And
Yeah,
he
I
said,
did
I
though.
did.
Yeah, I did. He's like, damn. I'm like, boy.
Yeah.
I'm like, how hard do you punch now then? Because you supposedly hold your punch. But Jim was like this, like, damn, bro.
You're like, dang, bro, you hurt my jaw. It felt like a baby boy. He was like, damn, my jaw hurt, cuz. Like, but yeah. So since we're on this topic of Jim, how did you guys feel about Jim Gordon portrayal in this movie? You guys
did his thing.
love Jim Gordon? You hate Jim Gordon? How'd y'all feel?
I liked him because he also like legitimized like Batman as a detective, and those scenes were fucking hilarious. Like they were short little scenes, but it's like they're just like, hey, like chain of evidence, like can we stop him having touch and shit? And then he's like, he got gloves.
Right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, gloves make a big difference. Sure.
Bro, yeah. Taco Juice said, y'all remember the two guys that got two-pieced in the club.
Yeah.
Hey, so those two, the twins, I don't know if you guys watch Desperate Housewives, but those are the twins from Desperate Housewives, actually.
They are also from Teen Wolf, and
Oh, they're twins too.
and they were werewolves.
Nice. Okay, I didn't know that. I've never seen Teen Wolf, but I've watched Desperate Housewives on Just Me. They're the twins on Desperate Housewives. What I do,
Yeah, Steve was mad hyped though. He was like, "Yo, y'all seen Desperate Housewives?"
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I'm like, yo, those are twins. Those are twins from Teen Wolf. That's fucking dope because I'm like, those two twins, they fuse together and make one big ass alpha werewolf. So I'm like, that's fucking dope.
Next time I see the movie, I'm gonna be Steve. In your honor, I'm gonna just get like, "Yo, let's do some Desperate Housewives."
bro.
I would never thought of that.
Before we drift off into that, Desperate Housewives is good. All right.
I didn't say
You
no.
sure about
You
because
don't
it's
got to
called.
defend your choices, Steve.
You
I
sure
know the
because
show
it's
is
called
called
Desperate
Housewives.
Housewives. It's called
I get it.
Desperate. I don't know how does that
There's a lot
sound
of
good.
murder that happens in Desperate Housewives. Okay, and it's not really about it's not a Sex in the City. Let's just put it out there. So you guys, let me make it. the twin, they're good. All right, just leave it at that. All right. So, anyways,
That's funny.
but as we were talking about Commissioner Gordon, how do you guys feel about the interrogation scene with?
But was he
Commissioner
commissioner? I don't
Gordon?
think he was commissioner yet.
No,
Well, he's not.
He
He's
was just
lieutenant.
a lieutenant or captain,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
Lieutenant Gordon. Commissioner runs off the tour.
Oh, yeah.
Lieutenant Gordon and Batman when they interrogate the Penguin, and he's like, "What the fuck is this? Good cop, bad cop."
Yeah.
How did you guys like that scene?
Oh, I like that. I thought it was pretty funny.
Good cop, bad cop.
The one thing that annoyed me is that there's a few people, and I know that those people are probably racist, whatever it is, but it just sucks that a lot of people was like, "Oh, of course, of course, Jim had to be black, show him the good guy and everything like that." Like that was the part that's annoying that I saw on a timeline on Twitter, social media, and but like that's the part that annoyed me when people spoke about Jim. But for me, as Jim, as his character and as an actor, he did great. I feel like he did a good job expressing of how stressful Gotham City is as a police. Because he looked like he still is a good one. Like Bruce told him, like, "Hey, who do you trust?" "I don't trust nobody, just you." And like, good, because you are one of the good ones. And Jim is one of those people that just wants to put the law in the good hands. But it shows that he has faith still in the system. So that's why I appreciate about Jim in this film, but also Jim as a character done by the actor. He did a great job. It was believable. It was great chemistry with Robert. I agree with Steve. The good cop and the bad cop, it was just entertaining because they both was taking turns. And yes, about talking on Jutsu, our boy Jeffrey Wright did an awesome job with that scene. Like, I'm very proud of him. Like,
Jeffrey
my
Wright.
boy been doing good over the years.
Jeffrey Wright is the Watcher. Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon. If you guys listen to the Batman podcast, Jeffrey Wright is Batman. Like Jeffrey Wright has played every character, like, and he's phenomenal at everything that he does.
And
Like I haven't seen
Westworld.
Westworld.
Oh yeah,
He's
Westworld too.
fucking Muddy Waters. He's like Jeffrey Wright, and he's fucking Puerto Rican guy in Shaft. Like Jeffrey Wright is just really fucking good at acting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what he does.
Oh, he was out because I was trying to remember like something else recent that I remember he was in. He was also a character called Isaac Dixon in Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's really fucking
He's really good. Yeah.
No, and by the way, today I was at Fanboys or whatever, and I saw a Watcher pop, and I was gonna buy it, and then as I got closer to it, the price went up, and I was like, oh shit! Like from a distance, I was like, oh shoot! Most of these pops is like $15. I'm gonna walk closer. And it wasn't behind no glass or anything, so I assumed that it was going to be affordable. It was like $150.
Wow.
I was like, no, I'm good on that. But
Wow.
but yeah, and if we get Jeffrey Wright as a Watcher in a live action Marvel movie, it's a wrap. Hey man, thank you for joining us, Talk No Jutsu. We definitely appreciated you. You know what I'm saying, for pulling up. For sure. And you know what I'm saying? Next time, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know you saw the movie. Next time, if you want to join in on a review, definitely pull up, man. That would be lovely. But yeah. So with that, we read down through most of the main characters, and Double O already gave us some gripes, things that he didn't like about the movie. What was your favorite scene in the movie? We'll start. All right, it was just Bash.
I will say for me, my favorite scene is at the club, because those 3 times at the club is always different of how he goes in and how it's executed, because it's done well. My favorite time is the 3rd time, is when he goes, because Zoe, aka Selena Kyle, is emotional, expressive, because she found out that Falcone is the one that killed her mom. So she's just stressed, she's angry, and she wants to kill him. But then Bruce turns off all the lights, goes on the elevator shaft, and literally kills everyone. Oh, well, sorry, not kill. He beats up everyone and gives them the hands left and right. And it's done so well where there's no light. All you see is the gun just shooting. That's all you see of that light. And to me, it's done very well for us, the audience, to see that Bruce is just giving the hands, but at the same time that he's going there in a beautiful cinematography way to go in there and then beat up Falcone or capture him and everything else. But then right after that, we get the rat within the light. And that to me, it's just a beautiful riddle that we all find out much later that, oh, that's what it meant. So that was very done well.
Double O.
So the thing that for some reason tend to catch my eye is especially when things can parallel to a meme. I think I brought up memes like three or four different times. So it's one of the things that, oh look, the name changed. I can just say Legend now.
Legend.
I was gonna say Vash. Vash brought up before. So when we get the shot of, this was towards the end, when we get the full shot of the wall when they go into Riddler's apartment, and you kind of like see all the newspaper clippings and like the bold writing of stuff. So it kind of reminded me of the meme that's very famous for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the Pepe Silva meme. And it's like, and the joke with the Pepe Silva meme, of course, is that it's a person that doesn't exist. Like he did all that work on the wall to find out that the person that he was looking for the whole time doesn't exist. So it's funny to me, that particular scene, because like Legend said, like it literally spells it out for you, and the cops are like so oblivious. Like, oh, he's just crazy, and he just writes a bunch of shit on the wall, and it says Bruce is Batman.
It's like it really is like right there spelled out for you, and that's the reason why I feel like he knew.
Mhm.
So I like for me, like that scene had a beautiful parallel to that meme.
Best thing. Rob?
Yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth on a couple of things because I agree with Vash. I definitely really enjoyed pretty much any time that they went to the club and all the different. I think just because a lot of just like key moments, key information and stuff was gained within those scenes, but I'll still say probably the police scene. Like I said, once Batman got knocked out and then woke up in that room, because I think that was definitely just like a good example or I guess like a key moment of kind of solidifying the trust between Batman and Gordon. The fact of like, hey, Gordon got all the other guys out of there, and they, were kind of whispering, exchanging information a little bit, trying to, get Batman up to speed on, or bouncing ideas off of each other of what was going on, and then, him kind of buying Batman some time and letting him escape and stuff. So yeah, so that's still one of my favorite moments of the movie. So, and of course, pretty much anytime Zoe Kravitz was on the screen too.
Facts.
I ain't mad at you on that one.
That's the woman. She's beautiful. But I just want to say, how do we feel about the climatic battle? Like, well, not
I
climatic
was
battle.
going to say my favorite scene is once the Riddler, what do you call it? Crew, I guess. The Riddler crew,
Yeah.
Batman fighting them was really, really dope. And then like we saw in the trailer, and I thought it was still dope, even though we saw it in the trailer. It was still dope seeing like it's completely pitch black. They start shooting the saying that's the light from the bullets, and he's like destroying these dudes. I thought that shit was fire as fuck. Like that was my favorite scene, to be honest. The last the Riddler support group, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
the Riddler cult.
that was a dope shot at the stadium, because I think it was at a stadium, but at the same time, like some people must have died. Like there was tonfolds of water going around the city to the stadium. I bet you there's a couple people have died. Like there's no way that not everyone should survive in good arms. And again, one of my favorite cinematography and shots throughout from the beginning of the film, when Bruce went into the house of the mayor of who got killed, but then when he saw the son, and I'm happy because if we haven't gotten a Batman film like for example 10-15 years, we would have gotten a flashback right there, like, this reminds me of when my parents got killed, and the boom flashback. The pearls fell off the mom's chain of the neck. Boom, the shot. Boom. But in this, we just know what Bruce is thinking because he sees the kid. And then at the end of the film, the only person that grabs Bruce's hand first is the kid. And I love that because at first, the whole mayor was like, nah, I don't fuck with you. I'm not going to grab your hand because I don't know you. And you are a whole vigilante. But then the only person who grabbed it is a little kid who technically is supposed to be afraid of Bruce. But no, he grabbed it, and then everyone else just followed. And the whole torch scene of him just walking and just leading the way of this whole water that's up to his chest, like that was an amazing shot. Like just beautiful cinematography.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring up that moment as well with Batman with the kid at the end, and as well as also when they had the moment at the I believe it was a church. The funeral
Yeah, funeral. Yeah.
And, yeah, and and Batman saved the kid there as well.
Mhm.
That whole scene in general also is probably one that kind of sticks in my mind as well, just because it's kind of one of the few extended scenes we get to see Bruce outside of the costume, so to speak, and yeah, but yeah, just that whole scene of them in the church and stuff. Him helping get the kid out the way, and and then that kind of going to the whole Riddler puzzle and all that stuff. So I enjoy that whole thing too.
Mm. Double
So the other thing that I really liked was that like the Arkham games, we did. If I don't know if people noticed, like from Robert Pattinson did what he was set out to do, and he took his shirt off a bunch of times in the film.
and so Robert Patterson had that thing where he was like, I've gained enough weight. I'm not gaining any more. And originally, when you saw that article, you were frustrated because it's like Batman is like 6'4, 265 or something like that. Like Batman is a huge, Bruce Wayne is a huge dude. You know what I'm saying? And then when he was like, no, I'm not gaining any more weight, I was like, all right, Robert Patterson, you're pissing me off. I was upset. But when you watch the movie, he's actually pretty solid. He's not
He
like
is.
super skinny or anything like that. So I was like, oh, okay, there's ways you can mimic the camera and make him, a solid dude. And yeah, so like how Double O said, he took off his shirt and he gave the ladies, what I'm saying, their eye candy or whatever.
So the other point I was gonna bring up with the whole taking the shirt off is as he progressively takes his shirt off throughout the movie, he gains progressively bruises.
Yeah.
You see that he's battered up like
Yeah.
throughout the film.
Mhm.
So I thought that was a good, again, like they do a lot of really good nods to the games, which like I appreciated that.
I
Oh.
do also want to add to what Double O brought up about the monologue in the beginning of the film, and it's showing the sequence of him with a bat signal that he's vengeance, and then he has this bat signal to bring fear. I love how in the end of the film, Jim asks, "Who are you?" to the thug. He said, "I'm vengeance," and the Bruce stares and looks like, "Fuck, this is not my goal. This is not what I wanted." And I love what Bruce thought about it, saying like, "Wait, I should start calling myself, I'm Batman." Like, yes, people, the bad guys could be calling me Vengeance, Dark Knight. But when I introduce myself, because I love the next monologue when he was up in the rooftop and he was like, "I have set out the wrong message that I wanted. I gotta do more. I gotta do better." And I love how he was questioning himself, and it makes sense because he's still in his year 2 run. He's in his year 2 experience, so he's still learning of his flaws, mistakes. That wait, okay, I mess up here. I'm putting the wrong message out in my city. Instead of people, being feared by me, they are. But now they are trying to take that fear into themselves and have it against all the other people I'm trying to protect. So I love that message that Bruce is starting to understand himself, that what he can do better and what he messed up in the past couple of months.
So that's the foreshadowing that I liked. I don't know, I forget if it was the first riddle or the second one, but I remember that the answer to the riddle was justice.
Yeah.
And that's what Bruce is about. Bruce is
Yes.
like the vengeance, it started that way because of the whole like avenging his family and stuff like that. But then like he over time switches to his message being like, I'm about justice. I'm about bringing justice, righting wrongs.
The district attorney was about to die, and he couldn't figure out the riddle himself. He was a nervous wreck, basically.
Bruce did the whole thing for him.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I was like, the Riddler is gonna give these answers. Like, I would have killed you right now. No, you didn't solve that shit.
But he still chose to die. He said, I ain't gonna put it out there. He said, I'm gonna choose death over revealing Falcone is the rat. He said, I'm gonna choose death. And I'm like, you stupid.
now that you mentioned Falcone, because there's two characters that we didn't. Let's just do two characters: Johnny Turturro and Andy Serkis as Falcone and Alfred. We didn't mention those two characters or whatever. So, how did you guys like the Falcone and Alfred throughout the movie? The portrayal of them.
Using Alfred as a kryptonite it's always done in good taste. I feel like even when they did it in the comics, when they did it in the animated series, because while Bruce has always given shit to Alfred for when he feels like he oversteps, he'll be like, "Yo, you're not my father. Like, I need you to understand that you are not my father." And he like it crushes Alfred when he says that shit in every medium, and he's just like, I know I'm not your father. Like, I know that tangibly. But I am your father, you little shit. Like I'm the closest thing you'll have to a father.
Mhm.
But what broke me with Alfred is when Bruce was worried, when he was running home to call like your Alfred pickup, your Alfred pickup. That's what to me, for the first time in the whole film, Bruce actually came out. Like Bruce, the actual personality came out, that he cared for Alfred. Like he cared, like he was scared for his life. Like yo, and once he heard that there was an explosion, and once he got asked the question, like, "Hey, is there a keen is there a next keen to life, or um what's the phrase, like there's a next kin, right? Next kin
Next
to life."
again, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Bruce's face was like, "Fuck, there is nobody else. It's just me." That's when he realized that Alfred got me. I got Alfred. We don't got nobody else. Like that's when he
Mhm.
realized, like, damn,
Yeah.
damn, I've been treating Alfred like crap.
Yeah.
So I love that scene because right after Bruce asks Alfred, like, "Hey, so I found out that Falcone is the one that killed my dad and everything, and plus he did a shady deal.
Mhm.
I thought my dad was perfect." I love what Alfred told him, like, "Hey, it could have been Falcone, or it could have been a random person in the street that just wanted some money." So I love how they did both side of the story, that it could have been him or it could have not been him. So I just love
Mhm.
what Alfred did very well.
Yeah, I love the fact that there was the it's Maroney after Bruce Wayne talks to Falcone, and then
Mhm.
Alfred wakes up from his coma, and then when he wakes up from his coma, he's like, I think that it was Falcone. And at the end of the day, we still have no idea who did it
Mhm.
because it's all speculations. We
Mhm.
know that, I mean, us as Batman readers, we know Joe Chill did it, but we don't know who hired the hit. Is it Maroney? Is it Falcone? Did he do it on his own fruition? Like, we have no idea who
Mhm.
did it yet.
Yeah.
So to me, Joe Turturro, because I've been watching, I don't know if you guys have been watching, I've been watching this show called Severance on Apple TV.
Mhm.
And Joe Turturro is on there. And
Mhm.
Joe Turturro has been crazy good on there. He's been crazy good on. He was crazy good as Falcone. He was
Mhm.
really good as in Anger Management and all these other shows that he's movies and things like that he's been good in. And when he's really really on point, he's really really on point. That's just who Joe Turturro
Mhm.
is. So right now, I'm really really feeling Joe Turturro just because of the fact that I've been watching Severance week to week. Severance has been really, really good, and then I was pleasantly surprised to see him as Falcone in this movie.
I
Mhm.
I didn't know he was gonna be in this film, and when I saw him there, I was like, "Oh shit, that's the guy from Transformers!" And I'm like, "Oh, this is dope!" Like he's like
He was in Transformers.
he actually surprised me, and I
Mhm,
felt like he did a good job to play Falcon. He felt like he played the good mob boss, sleazy lying guy, but
mhm,
also who will stab you in the back in the matter of a second. So I felt like he did such a great job because it was very similar in the Transformers film. Sleazy FBI agent who uses his top rank and don't give a fuck, but at the same time, he will do what's right. So it was very similar to the roles, but I like what he did in this film, and he surprised me. I have not seen what he has done in the past couple of years, so this surprised me, and I'm happy with what he did with it. And with the chemistry with him and Bruce and with Zoe, they did a great job.
Facts. Good
Yeah.
facts.
I agree.
Yeah.
So you guys enjoyed Joe Turturro. Obviously, we all enjoyed him. Andy
Mhm.
Serkis, his performance. You guys enjoyed Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Andy Serkis is. I mean, I guess he is older, but he does kind of. Oh shoot! Abe says I haven't watched the movie yet, so I'm just lurking.
Hey, but
Yeah.
question. We haven't talked. We haven't talked mainly focus about Bruce himself or about Batman, but I have a question about him in this movie. Do you know how throughout the films we have known about his past or how he learned his skill set, or you know how with this film his tech, we don't see a fox. So
Yeah.
how did you guys feel that we didn't really get a backstory of how he has a skill set? The only thing we know is that Alfred taught him how to fight. We don't know if of what he knows right now was taught all by Alfred, or he went to League of Assassins, or he went to the mountains as usual. How do you guys feel about that? That we didn't learn too much about his past of how he learned how to do all this tech stuff with his eyes, all this stuff with his smart tech. Because I've heard some people, some friends I've spoken to as well, that they didn't like that Bruce just knew how to fight and we didn't get a bit of backstory of how he learned these type of skill sets. How did you guys feel about that, by the way?
For me, I honestly don't care. Simple as that. Like, cause I enjoy the movie and kind of like what we talked about like at the beginning. It's like I don't need an explanation for everything every time. It's like we've seen Batman for what 80 years across all types of media and stuff, whatever. And for myself, so what if this one movie I didn't get explanation to why he has these high tech contacts in his eye or how he learns certain combat techniques. It's like he's Batman. That's all I really care about. He's Batman. He does stuff. He knows stuff. If we got an explanation, cool. But for myself, for this movie, I was fine without it. I didn't feel like I needed more explanation of that. I don't think for myself it would have made me like or hate the movie any more or less if I got super fine details as to why he did or why he is using all this stuff. So yeah. So for myself, I'm fine without that knowledge.
I agree. Like once I saw the something as high tech as like the contact lenses, I'm like, that's Lucius technology. You don't got to tell me that. That's Bruce is smart. He ain't that smart.
Bruce is smart.
So I'm like, for me, it's like that's a subtle hint to Lucius technology. And again, like I guess for anyone who's gonna like harshly critique that, I'm just like, it's his year two. And the thing that I liked about with the whole situation with Alfred in the hospital, and even with when Alfred was telling him like, "Yo, like the Bruce counterpart is just as important as your Batman counterpart because you can go broke just being Batman."
Yep.
And he's like, "You need money, you need influence, you need people backing you." And the other thing is, Lucius Fox, after being introduced, and unless there's a storyline focus around Lucius Fox or his son, Lucius Fox is essentially like someone who supports from the background. Like literally is like, I'm gonna fund like your tech because you're Batman. You're fucking Batman. Like
That too, but also I love how in the films we don't see smart Batman. Like we don't see the Batman that we've seen in Justice League comics where my man has built the whole watchtower. But I'm happy that we don't get that in the films because we get the comic type of solo route where we only know him as as a skillful type of martial artist and,
Mhm.
and the detective guy. I'm happy that we don't get the also additional top 20 smartest guy in the DC comics because he knows how to be smart as Mr. Terrific and they could build a whole watchtower together. Like
Mm.
I'm happy we don't get that in the films, the Bat films.
Yeah, and getting I love that the one of the scenes which made the scene stand out for me because he wasn't doing it all over the place, but for as much as I wanted him to use more gadgets, because like that's very Batman to like turn the situation on its head by using a gadget to help him out. I love that he used the smoke bomb when he was in Gotham Square Garden and he took down like the thugs in the top part of the what was it called, the jumbotron thing.
Yeah. Jumbo Dog.
And because he did that, and then he also did again more nods to the games themselves. Is like he strung them up, like he pushed them off the side, like off the railings and stuff, but like they were like just hanging tied up the way you like when you do stealth takedowns in the game.
Mm.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um.
And plus also he did use his battering one time and it was to open a door.
Yeah.
I thought that was badass that he carried it in his chest. It was an
Yeah,
actual.
like,
And it
I'm
was
like, okay,
it was
that
like
makes
locked
sense.
in. Yeah, that shit was dope.
I forget in which issue, but it was in New 52, or I think it was a Rebirth that his bat signal right here on his chest was also a battering. So it made sense. So it worked.
Yeah. It does.
And he used it to open the door, which was funny because he could have just broken down that door, gone through the window, but my dead ass literally went through the front door, literally shoot, opened the door, went in. That's it.
Yeah.
That looks threatening too. So someone just going like you see the bat signal. I mean the bat symbol, and he goes, "I'm gonna shank you with this."
Yeah, I really enjoyed Andy Serkis as Alfred. I felt like his passion was definitely there. Most of the time, appearance wise, you think Alfred is bald, but it didn't really affect me. It didn't make me think about that. And during the movie, I was like, he's Alfred. Like, I didn't have a problem with that because of his acting. His acting chops were really, really on point. I definitely felt like when that bomb went off and it was like, oh shoot, Alfred blew up or whatever. And when the maid had that scene where she was like, oh yeah, that was an hour ago. I was just like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yo, like he was that far behind just because of the fact that it's year 2 Batman. It's not, you know what I'm saying, like up to date Batman or whatever.
No lie, I thought there was a small chance I thought he died. I was like, yo, they did that's gonna kill Alfred in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yo, we dead ass.
I didn't
Oh
think
shit.
So this is how we bring in Lucius Fox.
Right? I'm like, yo, Matt Reeves, you killing Alfred in the first film. You said we're doing this in my own way. We're gonna be killing people out here. And we said the first and last member of his family. Boom. And there's a reason why he's gonna need the first Robin. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But no, I was like, oh, he's alive. I don't know how, because when you get hit by an explosion like that, you should be dead, not just unconscious in a coma, but you should be dead.
Facts. But I definitely was. I appreciated Andy Serkis, and it was nice to see Andy Serkis because most of the time Andy Serkis, when you see him, he was fucking Caesar in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
He's Golem in Lord of the Rings. He's more so a CGI character, and he's like acting as, you know what I'm saying, these other characters. So to actually see him, other than in Black Panther, he was what's the guy's
Claw.
name? Claw. He's the Claw in Black Panther. So we
Yeah.
do get to see him as that, but for the most part, we actually see him as a CGI character because he's just very good at movements and things of that nature. So to see him as an actual character and as an actual human, I thought that was really fun to actually see that.
Um,
Hmm.
I'll ask you guys a question. Remember back in the church at the funeral? Remember when Bruce, aka Batman, was trying to help the guy, solve the puzzle, but instead he died. Big explosion. How do you guys feel about Batman? He didn't get hurt at all. Yes, he lost conscious, but like even his jaw that has his jaw could get hurt. How do you guys feel about that? There's no bruise or burn mark or nothing because like he was right in front of the explosion. Or do you think that was plot?
I think suspense. You gotta with any movie in general, you gotta have some suspense of belief because, like
Hmm.
Rob said earlier, it's like it's great, for it being like a tit for tat movie critique. Like, yeah, you can bring stuff like that in and having disparities with like scenes, not having continuity in scenes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it's like, would it have really served like a higher purpose movie wise if like you got like a bloody jaw, because you could still go forward and be like, technically he wouldn't really be just bloody and like even like a little burnt. Like his jaw should have been off his face. Like, so it's like one of those things where it's like his jaw's not gonna be off his face. So like giving me a little trickles of blood or even like him being a little burnt, like it wasn't gonna do that justice. Like you said, he took essentially like a grenade to the face.
Yeah, he did.
Hmm.
Mm. And it was like the way that they did it was just kind of like they just rubbed it off. So I guess in the sense of if you want to be hella critical, you'd be like, oh shit, this face should have been blown off. But for the most part, it was like whatever, like it's Batman, it's Bruce Wayne.
I'm
To
Batman.
me, yeah, to me, I'm like,
I
it's
am
Bruce Wayne.
vengeance.
Yeah. So, but we're an hour and 46 minutes in. Final thoughts, things that we may have missed and you want to touch on. What are some things that you guys would like to talk about for our final thoughts and everything like that?
I just want to give a shout out to the choreography of the fight scenes. They were very done well.
Mm,
Uh, Ben Affleck warehouse scene is amazing. Is one of my favorites. I think it was BVS, was it? And it's one of my favorite Batman fight scenes. Robert Pattinson did an amazing job to have a lot of fair fight scenes in this film.
mm,
When he fought at the club, that club is popular because there's a party every fucking night there. So
mm.
like you will not be bored in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Um, and I just want to say that this film did knock out the park. I don't know where it sits in my Batman ranking, but to me, I enjoy this. Robert Pattinson, if he comes back and he does a sequel or trilogy, because I know that's what Matt Reeves wants to do, is what deserved. I'm excited to see what Matt Reeves does, and if he wants to do a Joker, maybe he has something planned to do a good Joker that we haven't seen or planned out to see. So I'm excited to see what comes up with this new Robert Pattinson films as a Batman. I'm actually very excited for it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think one of the biggest things that film tends to kind of like fall into a hole for when it comes to continuing like a series. Because like you'll have like, oh, this was Snyder's whatever, and this was this particular uh producers whatever. I'm like, I think they need to not get caught up in that and just do the films they want to do, because I'm like, I want uh you know um a trilogy or more, but I don't need it to literally like one thing to leak, like one film to leak into the other. Like I'm fine
Hmm.
with like, this is the Batman, chapter whatever, year two, boom, standalone film. And then if they decide to do a sequel, it's a sequel in the sense of like, okay, we're gonna let X amount of time pass because this is the story we want to tell for the second film. Like, do Hush, just throwing it out.
Mhm.
Do Hush, because like going the detective route, do Hush.
Makes so much sense.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe not right away, but I'm like, at some point, do Hush, because that tied back into the fact that the Riddler was the first movie. So like the stuff like that would be great. The reason also why I like the whole Arkham Asylum side of like doing Joker Arkham Asylum at some point is the detective side of it, because they start learning the history of the Arkham family, and that side of it is really interesting.
And plus his
Mhm.
mom, knowing about of how she was insane, like knowing about her family and why the name was there too. That would be dope.
Yeah, really get the like more history and stuff behind it. But I am very excited for this for Robert Pattinson to take up the mantle once again. See where they go with it. My biggest advice to just any like producer moving forward is just director going forward is like, don't literally have to let one movie leak into the other one for it to be the sequel. Like, you could be like, oh, this is like a couple months after that, like Penguin is now running shit. Like, cool,
Right.
start it like that.
Mhm.
And you could definitely do that and not have any complications because of the fact that you already kind of know what's going on.
Right.
Mhm.
They can literally do a 6 months later, like, okay, we're not gonna have, let's say, oh, we're not gonna have Selena Kyle in this movie, or like we're gonna have her return, and now she's more seasoned. Like, she's now gets into her Catwoman persona.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we probably catch her trying to rob a diamond.
Yeah, that could be opening scene. Yeah.
That would definitely be dope. And it's
Yeah.
weird. And the thing that I love the most about this movie is that we didn't have villains die. They're arrested, they're out there. You know what I'm saying? But they're not
Mhm.
dead. And I love that about this movie, that they didn't just decide I'm going to kill characters off. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll never get to see them again. I love the fact that they're open ended and they're alive, they're well. You know what I'm saying? They are in Arkham Asylum, but the way that Arkham Asylum is portrayed in Batman, you can break out at any time. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they're just in there, I really,
Mhm.
really love that.
Yeah. I I want to give a shout out to, because I don't think we really touched on it too much with her, but the music in the
Yes.
movie.
The score, yeah.
Yes, because every time his Batman's thing came up, um, I just felt it. And then that, so I can't remember exactly like when it happened in the movie, but I could have sworn, and maybe this has already been confirmed or whatever, but I could have sworn I thought I heard like maybe like a remix or something of the Batman animated series theme
Hmm.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, you definitely
So
did.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
you heard that.
I was like that theme is so ingrained in my brain. I'm like, I know I wasn't tripping, but yeah, I just really enjoyed the music of it. It just really just added to the whole uh tone and vibe of the overall uh movie experience and stuff. So definitely shout out to that, and uh definitely in the future, just give me more Zoe Kravitz as Selena.
Yeah,
I I saw, I guess some rumors floating around there that she's also going to get her own show
a
potentially.
Catwoman show. I haven't heard
Yeah.
that, but that would be dope.
Yeah, I saw maybe like a few hours ago. I saw like rumors floating around that she's gonna get her own, potentially get her own HBO series. So,
That'd be dope.
um, but yeah. Other than that, love the movie.
Okay. Anybody else? Um, Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. It's our first time. It's honestly our first time going live. I don't think we've ever been live before. Double O, correct me if I'm wrong. We've never
Yeah.
really gone live, so this was a great experience. We actually our high was 13 people
Hey,
inside of
Nice.
here. So we had a lot of people in here. So we'll probably definitely do this more often. And
Mhm.
yeah, man. You guys plug you guys social media. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah. So, so yeah, y'all can find me everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at Dad Needs to Talk, or Dad Needs to Talk podcast. And yeah, just check me out if you want your fatherhood talk, manga, anime, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Vash.
And he is my dad.
Yes.
You can always find me at Legendary Vash at at the Son of Rob, and you can always find me at the content of Anime Lately and Careful for Spoilers. And there's not a lot of content on Anime Lately because I work in production and we work a good 80 hours a week. So we do the best we can, and I appreciate you guys having me here as well.
Of course, man. This was your idea.
Well,
Double O, man. Tell these
you can always
people.
find me at Trino Forest, linktr.ee/00 status. All my social media links are there. But the one I always promote heavy is my Twitter. I'm on there every day. So that would be the best place for you to connect with me. Going down through the links of the link tree, you will also find links to the It Mob and everybody else in the squad. We also have our Patreon is up. Please go there and support that. We have content on there that's exclusive to Patreon, and we also drop content earlier on Patreon. So as a Patreon subscriber, you would get the content first before we release it to the masses. We also have a store, so go in there, buy some merch. We ourselves personally support the store as well because we have some of the merch. I got a shirt, I got a mask,
I got a shirt.
got a thong. What?
Socks.
It's like-
I got
so
some.
yeah. So please go there and support the content. The content. We appreciate it.
Mhm.
In fact. It is I, Scuba Steve, aka Scuba Steve 1428. Skylar's dad, whatever. I wore one cosplay and cosplay two different characters, aka the Instant Negator, because we read Undead Unluck around here. But yeah, man, Double O has already said it. The Blur Mind Pod is our Twitter, and there's a link tree. And when you go there, there's 9 of us. We're all knuckleheads, and we all talk our shit. And all 9 of us have our links up there, our Twitches, our YouTube channels, and things like that. And thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Twitch. It was a success to me. I feel like this was a great experience. So we're going to definitely do this more often. But yeah, man, thank y'all. Peace.
This is a part of the podcast where we slander Steve. All right, everybody, go around.